right, welcome everyone to the All About Nothing podcast, kind of daily show. I am Barrett Gruber, host of the All About Nothing podcast. You can find me across all social media at Barrett Gruber. With me is the host of the podcast Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jamil Brooks, Bill Kimmler. You can follow him across all of social media at politicalbillsc. If you want to participate in the show, you can go chat with us on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. You can find links at the top of our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. Whew.
Hello. Hey, I'm curious. So on these live streams, are we both visible to the average viewer, or do we pop back and forth based on who's speaking?
We pop back and forth based on who's speaking.
So if I just constantly hum for the next 45 minutes, I'll always have the facial video time.
You know what I can do is I can accommodate for that by doing one of these maneuvers where now it's a split screen. So now so now you're on my left.
Am I looking at you?
You are looking.
Hey there. Hey there.
Why aren't you wearing pants? I don't understand.
Is your name Bubba? Hey.
I'm sure to someone it is. It's entirely possible. What I want to say that this week since Monday has just.
Well, I was going to say it's about time we had a quiet week where there's really nothing that's transpired in the news for us to talk about, and we can just chill.
Yeah,
talk about Superman. You know, the important topics of the day.
And yet, the president still has not signed the bill that was sent over from the Senate.
Oh,
which is kind of the way I figured this was going to play out. When we learned yesterday that the House was basically going to have an unvetoable vote on the
it was close.
The Epstein files. Yeah,
it was close. It was a close vote. So it was touch and go there for a second.
The one nay vote was Louisiana Representative Clay Higgins, and I want to put this out there.
Name is Clay Higgins. You got to pronounce it correct. Clay Higgins.
Clay Higgins. Upon leaving the Capitol, Representative Clay Higgins had this interaction with the public.
Oh yeah.
If it'll play for me.
No, you're out. You're out. You're out. You're out. You're out. Aren't you a congressperson touching me? Get off me.
Someone video this. Get this on video.
Get off me.
Get this on video. This is assault.
Get off me.
This is assault.
What kind of behavior is that?
I don't know. I don't care that guy, like the guy he was throwing around was like 80 pounds. I would have thrown a fist. Yeah. Like right there, knowing that there were cameras, I would have thrown a fist and taken my shot at a congressman who dared lay his hands on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't care if I would have been on the worst side of the exchange. It would have been worth every second. Every blow would have been worth it.
I had thought that it would have been entertaining to do a deep dive into exactly who Clay Higgins is. But ultimately in the end, I made a decision that I wasn't going to. In fact, all I was going to do was just make fun of him. So here is Louisiana Representative Clay Higgins asking himself how Roger Rabbit got away.
Oh my God.
He's about to walk into an audition for the role of the MAGA Carmen Sandiego. This is Clay Higgins at the MAGA Halloween party in his costume as Dr. Renee Emile Balik from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Here's Clay Higgins trying to convince himself that his hair didn't migrate from his head to his face. Here he is wearing two coats in Washington, D.C. in August. Here is Clay Higgins thinking he's going to be the next Bond villain and believing the only acceptable wardrobe after Labor Day is Dr. Evil.
I'm surprised you didn't come up with an obvious one.
What's the obvious one?
Here's Clay Higgins cooking meth in a trailer to help fund his lung cancer treatments.
That's good.
Right?
He is ultimately this sort of goes back to the conversation you and I were having last night. And I believe that because it wasn't 430, it wasn't 434 to 1. It was 427 to 1. That's how many yays versus nays, which means that there were 6 people that didn't vote, that gave no votes. Either they were absent or whatever. But the Senate bill here in South Carolina, S323, failed to come out of committee because they couldn't get enough votes. And I disagreed with you
All right, so now we're talking about the full abortion ban that's
Correct.
happened, or they tried to get in over the summer here in South Carolina. I mean, this would have been the worst bill in the nation. We would
The
have gone
most
right
strict.
to the bottom.
Yeah.
This would have been death penalty for women. This would have been like you couldn't even talk about the subject without incurring a 40-year sentence.
Right.
You couldn't even create a website. You couldn't. I mean, the restrictions were just so ludicrous. And so there was a formal vote to get it out of subcommittee. And I think there were 9 members. I got to see if I did my math right.
Yeah, 9. There were 9 members, and it was 6 Republicans, 3 Democrats.
Right, because they're in a super majority. So, so there was a vote held, and what was the outcome of that vote? Remind me.
The vote was the 3 Democrats voted no.
Right.
Clay Higgins, fucking Cash, Senator Cash, he voted in favor of. There was another Republican that voted in favor of, and then there were 4 Republicans that did not vote, including
one of the sponsors of the bill abstained.
Garrett, right?
Yeah, which I was absolutely shocked. That's the senator of my area. I won't call him my senator.
Yeah,
but the senator of my area, and he was a sponsor. His name was one of 3 on that bill, and he abstained. So what that left was the Democrats became the majority no vote in a 3-2 vote then, right? That math works,
and
which was wild. But what was it that you disagreed with me on? Because I'm not wrong. So what was there to disagree with?
No, you're not wrong.
I mean, I remind me of what the controversy was.
Well, it's that, first of all, I don't think that any senator or representative is elected to office to not vote on something. I don't think that and ultimately that's my problem.
So it's not it's not a tertiary choice. You don't get to vote yes, no, or abstain.
Right.
But isn't that kind of how the law works though? Like you go, you can go plead, you can plead guilty, not guilty, or I plead no contest.
Correct.
Like you get 3 options there. So why can't lawmakers have 3 options?
Because I feel like when it comes to something as important as this, that first of all, an incredibly unpopular bill. In the state of South Carolina, polling indicated that about 80% of people believe that this bill was 10 steps too far. I mean, even people that are the heads or CEOs or whatever of some of these pro-life organizations believe that this bill was absolutely one of the most unpopular things and didn't make
I don't know,
sense.
Barrett. I watched the 9 hours of testimony where they grabbed people off the streets, and I was watching some of these pro-life activists saying that bill did not go far enough.
How could it have gone any further?
I don't know.
But but the
kill the mother, save the baby. You know,
it's going to happen to him somehow anyway. My fear is that we're going to get into session and someone's going to introduce that bill architecture again, as far as it's going to show up in committee somewhere again. If not the health committee or the health oversight or whatever that committee is, someone's going to try and reintroduce it somewhere. And
one thing I learned though, just as I was studying all of these committees and all of the bills that were pre-filed and filed since then, there were like over 1,000 bills filed.
Yeah.
And of that, maybe 10% ever make it to a committee.
Sure.
And then once you're in committee, only like less than half of that actually ever make it to the floor for a vote. So it takes a lot for a bill to even get to committee. And in this particular case, I think it was done to get a couple of votes from these right-wing abortion extremists on an energy bill, completely unrelated.
Yeah.
So they negotiated, wheeled and dealed, says, listen, if you'll vote this way on this energy bill, or maybe it was the, not the energy bill, maybe it was the liability bill. There was an insurance bill that went through. I think it was insurance, now that I remember correctly. Anyhow.
The reform bill that goes into effect on January 1st.
Yeah, but there was a Senate version that has nothing to do with what's going into the law. So go back, roll back in time. They were looking at it from a more comprehensive tort reform as opposed to just the liquor liability. And I think they were able to get a couple of votes by promising that their bill about this extreme abortion ban would make it to committee. So there was some political wheeling and dealing, but you don't get to play that card twice.
No, no,
You
that's
know,
true.
so I honestly, I think there is a procedure in which you can bring a bill directly to the floor and bypass committee. There's a way to do it, but it's a very high bar to get there. I don't know the details, but it's difficult, and I've not seen it done all that often. Then then they could reintroduce it, but getting it back to committee, again, I think they shot their shot.
Yeah. And I certainly hope so. I think the outcome that we had was the best possible outcome. I just get frustrated when.
No, the best possible outcome is if Cash had like a coronary right there during the hearing.
I'm going to tell you, the guy has made no comment since yesterday's vote. No comment. And for a guy that talks nonstop.
This is the same guy that wanted to lower like the age of teen marriage, and also to forbid them from learning about contraception at the same time. I swear to God, I've got the video clip.
It's unbelievable to me that this is someone who is representing a district of how many represent a Senate district?
Well, it's unbelievable to me that they vote this asshole in. That's the thing. You take a look at Chip Higgins. They voted that asshole in.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, and that it goes back.
How do you look at him and go, yeah, that's who I like. That's who represents me.
No way. There's no way. We are going to, here in District 88, we are going to be hosting an event for Colonel Hightower, who is running as the Democrat in the special election. Thank you, sir. For the special election coming up on December 23rd.
Like Colonel Hightower, you just like imagine he is a character in Hogan's Heroes. Like that name.
Yeah.
Colonel Hightower. Hightower.
In all of our text messages back and forth, that's how I refer to him. When I talk to him with other representatives that hopefully we'll be able to get here to come, announce or at least introduce him to our neighborhood. That's how I refer to him. He's Colonel Hightower. When he was at my house Saturday, and we were just out in the yard talking for like an hour, and
from what little I've seen, again, I don't know him because I'm not a neighbor. I'm not in that area, but he seems to be very soft-spoken, gentle.
He is.
But is that the kind of guy that's going to elicit new votes, being that low key? I mean, the guy's certainly more than qualified, exceptional record, tremendous individual.
Has the time available.
Yeah, but he's just so soft.
Yeah.
Politically speaking.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But ultimately, I think that he is someone, and I think Nick and the Democrats, I think that they chose someone who is, he's not crazy like me.
Yeah.
I think ultimately they chose the right candidate to potentially pull in. In
Let's
fact,
be clear. Are you saying that he was picked to run or encouraged to run, or he decided to run on his own? Because there's two ways that people seem to think that the Democratic Party is out there picking their candidates. Why did the Democratic Party put somebody up? Well, you got to have people willing to stand up. Right. And most of the time they're doing so of their own volition. When I ran twice, nobody came and recruited me to go run. It was just, I'm going to do it. Right. Well, Same thing with Jamil.
I was recruited, and I don't know what the circumstances are between the Democrats and Colonel Hightower, but I've seen him before. I've seen him at Democratic meetings in Lexington County for the Democratic Party.
All right, cool.
So I recognized him as soon as someone told me who it was that was running for it, the seat. And ultimately, I also spoke to former Senator Katrina Shealy. She is planning on attending the event when we introduce Colonel Hightower to the neighborhood, because she does not live very far from here.
Do you need me to help you write a poem that you can introduce Colonel Hightower with? A little slam poetry, and
I would do it. I will do it. In fact, I will make sure that we broadcast this live across our social media when the event occurs. I'm thinking it's probably going to be right underneath the oak tree in front of my house. So
no way, really? But you really thought this through. That's awesome.
Yeah, because ultimately, I think this is our best opportunity to at least take that seat for the next next year. It's the best opportunity we've had, and I think that I can't imagine.
Who was the last Democrat to run for this seat? Was it that poetry guy, the McMaster poem guy?
It's the last one I can think of.
Oh my gosh!
Because Jeremy Jones was going to run for it, and then he dropped out of the race.
Yeah, he's not. He would have been a terrible candidate.
but
just between
as
you
the
and I,
last
I'm
one
sure
I
he's
can think
probably
of.
sitting there listening to this show, but he's not running material. Nice guy, but
if Jeremy's watching this, Jeremy, you put too much on social media, and ultimately, I
seriously,
think
there were things that appeared in my feed that I had to just block them or mute them, just get them off. So yeah,
I don't disagree, but yeah, I'm excited. I think Colonel Hightower is probably our best opportunity to take back. I know it's a special election. It's the day before Christmas.
The day was it 2 days before or the
2
day
days
before?
2 days before,
Yeah.
23rd. I think early voting will start on December 7th. The likelihood is that I'm going to probably wind up working one of the polls for that election, whether it's as a clerk or as a manager. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. I feel like this is one that I can do my part locally to try and encourage people to turn out, because ultimately that's what we need. We just need people to turn out for the election. If they show up, I think Hightower wins, because even in the primary, there was less than 2,400 people that showed up in our district of 32,000, which is insane to me. I know it was only a Republican primary, and I know it was a runoff, but that's an incredibly small number for something that is, it's not really our duty to vote, but it's our civic right, and we should take advantage of that.
It really should be a civic duty. I posed this question to Jay Parmley once, and I says, would you make voting participation mandatory? If you could wave a wand, would you enact a law? Because there are countries out there that do compulsory voting.
Yeah, sure.
And you have to pay a fine if you do not vote. Right? That's the law. And I mean, it's like a nominal fee, like $20, let's say, right? But there's still a law in many countries that compel you to vote. And, we compel people to do jury duty. We compel people to pay taxes. There's things out there about being in society you're compelled to do. Yeah.
So
why not voting? Why not be forced to pay attention and learn and pick a name?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't know about the fine or how, but I absolutely think that people should recognize it as it's their specific duty to be active citizens and
He said duty. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Beavis and Butthead lately. He said duty.
I don't know where to go from there.
Tell me, what are you watching lately?
Lately, so definitely been watching South Park. I love South Park. Yeah, I started watching the new show on CBS called DMV, which has one of the guys from the Righteous Gemstones. It was the youngest son's eventual husband. But Tim Meadows is in the show as well. And I don't know that I find the show to be super funny. The story is a little loose and it's hard to because the show opens with this particular DMV office is going to get shut down. That there are two characters that are going to be there the whole time monitoring and assessing it, and they're going to shut it down. Have not seen those two characters since the first episode, and we're like at eight episodes in, or however many. But Tim Meadows plays one of the driving test people, the testers. And I think the funniest bit in that whole show is when Tim Meadows is sitting in his desk chair, random points in time, his chair will just drop out from under him. It'll hit the bottom. And I saw an interview with Tim Meadows that said that gag is completely unplanned, that they have a mechanism that drops his chair, but he doesn't know when they're going to do it. So the fact that he stays on point with his character through that, because it happens almost every episode. I think it's happened every episode, but he'll just be sitting there talking to somebody above his desk. And
speaking of gags,
the chair just drops.
Have you seen this new TikTok trend where a woman gets on and says, my husband and I came up with a comprehensive list of what we've shoved in our rear ends. I'll start. Nothing. And then they cut to the husband where, prior to filming, the husband was asked, what is in your toolbox? And the guy rattles off all the tools. Right. So he's just saying, well, I've got a wrench and I've got this and I've got that. And the girl and the woman's just giggling behind the camera. Right. Yeah. And then she posts the whole thing. And I've seen maybe 10 videos of that, and each one is funnier than the next.
I haven't seen that. That is hilarious.
Oh,
if you do me a favor, send one of them to me next time it comes up. That way it'll enter into my feed.
Yeah, it's cute. It's a funny little trend, seeing them sucker their husbands or boyfriends with this funny gag.
I almost don't want to bring up any of the serious stuff that I punched out.
Oh, let me tell you what I'm watching. I am hooked on a show right now that is hands down probably the best show I've seen in a decade, at least since Game of Thrones. And it's a completely different genre too. It's The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. I watched that when it was
Wow. I did not even hear about this show until this year.
Yeah, that was a COVID show.
From the very first episode to, and I'm now in season 4, everyone is a home run. I am loving the shit out of this show.
Yeah.
Jewish girl in the 1960s ends up going into stand-up comedy and meeting a lot of famous people along the way.
Joins the USO.
The USO, meeting Lenny Bruce is a guy that I, studied and listened to a lot in my 20s. I mean, it's just marvelous, phenomenal. I give it the highest rating. Everybody I've asked about it have said it was a great show.
Another show that I am watching, and it's only basically I know what season I am in based on the shows that are out at certain times, because a lot of the shows I watch are on Discovery Channel. And the show that I'm usually most entertained by is Deadliest Catch. I don't know what it is, but I think that I could be on the deck of one of these boats and do this job, because they go out for 4 weeks at a time. And if they're on one of the bigger ships, they come home and they make 50 grand in 4 weeks. And then they'll go out for another 4 weeks and they'll make another 60 grand. And it's like, so I get it's a lot of hard work. You'll have several 24-hour days stacked on top of each other, throwing out and bringing in fish or, crab or whatever. But I think I could do it. I don't realistically think I could. I mean,
but wouldn't that be the best show? They take common schlubs who watch the show, who think they can do it, and throw their asses on the boat and see how long they last. Right?
I would watch that show. I would watch that show, and they'd have to have one of those counters on the wall that says how many days since the last overboard death. And
right. Oh, you'd have to sign a whole bunch of forms of promising not to sue, or a whole bunch. A shit ton of waivers you'd sign, but then you'd be on the boat. You'd throw out your first net, and there goes our first victim. He went with the net.
He couldn't even pull it back in. It pulled him over.
He launched his ass right off the side of the boat.
So Deadliest Catch ended several weeks ago, but it was really weird too. It's almost like they sped up the whole process to get Deadliest Catch over with, because they were scheduled to start the History Channel. Like Discovery Channel and History Channel they're two different channels, and I think they're actually on two different networks, but they don't really compete against each other with the shows that they're on. So like Deadliest Catch is running on Discovery Channel, but that will wrap up just in time for The Curse of Oak Island to start up. So now I'm watching The Curse of Oak Island, which I know those fuckers are never going to find anything. Like there's no treasure. There's nothing there for them to find, but they are spending millions and millions of dollars turning this tiny little island in the North Atlantic off the coast of Nova Scotia into Swiss cheese. I mean, it's so entertaining. Absolutely one of the most entertaining shows, because you just have to keep in your head the knowledge that there's nothing there. They're not going to find anything. It's just hilarious to me. It's hilarious to me. What else are you watching? Or is it just
I watch a ton. I mean, I watch South Park. I'll watch Beavis and Butthead. The new seasons that are out are hilarious. They're just my guilty pleasure. Watch The Simpsons. I won't stop watching that.
I heard The Simpsons killed off like one of the
I haven't seen this. I haven't seen this last episode yet, so no spoilers. I did hear about a character getting killed off, but I don't know who.
Yeah, it was.
But I'll be honest with you, it's not. The show is a shadow of its former self. Sure. Like, I mean, I've watched that show since its very first episode in the early 90s, or maybe it was 89 even when that first episode was released. I've watched every one of them, have a lot of it memorized, huge fan, but it's just now it's out of habit, and respect for what it was in the first 20 seasons.
Yeah.
It's weird now. It's very different.
Yeah. I have not been an avid watcher of The Simpsons probably in 15 years, but like every now and then I'll catch an episode and it'll hold me for the entire episode. I think one of my biggest things is it's not one of those ones that I download. So there are still commercials when it's on. And because of the commercials is how I lose interest. I used to think of commercials as like, oh, I can get up and go take a break and maybe go to the bathroom. And I think to myself that 3 or 4 minutes, I'll come back and the show will be back on. No, because like The Simpsons is what, 18 and a half minutes now with 12 minutes of commercials. Like that feels insane. And because of that, Disney, who owns The Simpsons, and YouTube couldn't come up with a deal quicker than that. The fact that both of them are able to sell national and local commercials during The Simpsons, and they're probably selling 30-second commercials for 50 or 60 grand a piece. They couldn't figure out how to work that out. It's insane to me. Absolutely insane. So yeah, I don't know. It's I'm thankful that we're only a day and a half or 2 days away from the weekend, because I feel like I need a weekend before we get into Thanksgiving. Do you have a big Thanksgiving play? Also, we need to figure out, are we going to do a show the day before Thanksgiving and tell people what we're thankful for? Or do you want to save that? Do you want to do that on the Monday?
I've got nothing going on, so I'm perfectly free. Why not?
Our Wednesday before Thanksgiving will be our thankful episode.
Sure.
I'll try and think of some things I'm thankful for. Oh my goodness. Well, we're
so instead of predictions next week, we'll do thankfuls.
Yeah, that'll work. Well, you introduced it. So what are your do you have any predictions for this week?
As of right now, I've got 2 predictions and my brain is furiously racing for a third.
Okay.
But I didn't drink any wine tonight, so I don't have the creative juices flowing.
No.
So these are sober predictions.
Oh my gosh. Well,
but I'll throw a first prediction out there.
All right.
I predict that by this time next week on TikTok, those AI generated videos about Trump and Bubba will account for half of all videos on that platform.
That's fair.
Because I cannot scroll a half of I'm just a little swipe and then there's another AI generated Bubba Trump video and every one of them is perfect.
I saw an AI video on Instagram, I think, of Donald Trump leading a horse behind a barn, and then all you hear is the horse neighing. Just like, golly. All right. Well, let's see. My first prediction: President Trump's doctors will announce that the MRI results were in fact perfect, but only showed a close-up of a hamburger. His MRI was a hamburger. Yeah, the White House physician will issue a new memo clarifying president's exceptional physical health is measured strictly by his ability to consume and enjoy red meat.
All right. I'll throw a second one in there. This one is a little more on the serious, realistic side.
Oh, that's scary.
And so I do want to remember this prediction and see if it comes true. But by this time next week, I bet Trump will still have not signed those Epstein papers, the law that both the Senate and the House passed. I bet you it'll still sit on his desk, and that every person who asks him about it will be called another derogatory name like Piggy or whatever.
Man, I saw an article just before we went on of celebrities and reporters that anonymously, and so I don't know if they're really celebrities and reporters, but these people anonymously have said that if Donald Trump can call a reporter Piggy, that people should now be able to tell Donald Trump, fuck you. That reporters,
whoever is the first one who says that to his face will be inaugurated as hero of the United States.
God,
Think about that.
I don't even need the accolades. I just want to be the first one to do it.
But still, you will be legendary. It will be history book making.
Yeah.
A middle finger and an FU right there on camera.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's gotten to that point because the way that he responds to reporters, the reporter from ABC yesterday that I think asked a legitimate question. What do you say to people that think that it's inappropriate for Prince MBG or whatever his name is in the White House of a country that his country that he is the prince of financed the 9/11 attacks? Like, what do you like? How is that appropriate? This is a guy that ordered the death of a Washington Post reporter. Not only the death, but the dismemberment. And like, I feel like it's an appropriate question. And yet Donald Trump attacks her because this is a guy that's making him billions. This is a guy that is financing, I think it's now 4 different Trump resort hotels in the country of Saudi Arabia. So like, and just the cognitive dissonance of recognizing that we have never had a president in the history of this country besides Trump's first term that has taken such advantage of the office to embolden his finances, to grow his wealth. And people,
well, you still owe me a second prediction. I predict you're going to get to your second prediction.
All right, next week, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and President Trump are going to be seen hugging on CNN, then immediately begin a physical fight over who is the real MAGA traitor.
Everything sounded realistic except the CNN part. Yeah, you could have had a very legit prediction.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for CNN, and that made it unbelievable. So you need to work on your craft a little bit there. You almost had it.
I thought CNN just because, they're remotely the most centrist, but you're probably
okay.
Right. You're probably right.
All right, my last prediction. I predict that Barrett Gruber indeed will make an appearance on Deadliest Catch, except it will be about venereal diseases.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I didn't know we were going to make personal attacks on each other. I mean, I kind of knew we were going to make personal attacks on each other.
It's a prediction, man. Yeah. That's my prediction. Take it or leave it.
All right, here's my last one. The entire Republican Party will unite on a single issue demanding the next set of Epstein files be released only on a subscription-based streaming platform.
Yeah, I heard something like that where Trump will be hawking copies of the Epstein files on,
somebody took that.
And yeah, it was a slight variation on that, but they're saying that, they're surprised he hasn't started trying to sell it or make it into a Trump classified release promo that you can pay $50 for, $100 for.
I guarantee you that if that is the case, that the store will be open up at store.whitehouse.gov.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, because I don't know if
he'll be doing TikTok lives trying to sell his crap.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, all right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. I hope you have a good weekend.
I hope I do too.
It's gonna do it for
we got Eagles Cowboys.
You have an interview this weekend,
and we got a recording this weekend. Interviewing Stacey Mars, the chair of the Greenville County Democratic Party, and podcast star in her own right.
Yeah.
So she's going to make an appearance on our show. It's funny. It's now that we've interviewed two candidates for U.S. Senator in South Carolina, and the major governor candidate on the Democratic side. It's like I'm setting my sights now on some national. Like I want an existing U.S. senator. Doesn't have to be from South Carolina, but I want an actual senator. I want a Chuck Schumer, right? Or I want Elizabeth Warren on our show.
I'll tell you something I don't think I've ever talked about on the show. When I was a child, I met Senator Ben Jones, or maybe he was Representative Ben Jones, but the guy that played in Dukes of Hazzard, Cooter, who eventually became a congressman. Again, I think.
Wait a minute, is this a real story? I've never heard this. The guy who played Cooter in the Dukes of Hazzard,
Ben Jones,
became a U.S. congressman.
He was elected to out of North Atlanta. He became a congressman, and one of the things that we got to do as a scout troop was we got to meet Ben Jones in his office in Atlanta, outside Atlanta. So that's one. I might could still get a hold of him. The number's around here somewhere. It's printed on the bottom of a General Lee.
I would only interview him if he played the part of Cooter the entire time. I want to talk to Cooter. I don't want to talk to Representative Ben Johnson or Ben Jones.
Ben Jones, yeah. That's fair. Well, on that bombshell, I guess we'll wrap it up. Big thanks to everybody tuning in and watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, you can follow Bill at politicalbillsc. You can follow me at Barrett Gruber. Thanks for liking and hitting the bell. If you can, give us a 5-star review. Leave a comment. Until next time, stay safe. Be